appears to be functioning. Oh, he's splurging. What are you doing splurging? You shouldn't be splurging all over the place.
Hello there.
Hello there. Good evening. Well, afternoon, I suppose, technically. Right. Now, hopefully we won't fall at the first hurdle, because I need to be able to not only open the program, I need to then be able to put it as a source on OBS. So we shall see. We shall see if we sort of immediately end up going, oh, bullshit! And that's what OBS stands for. Or whether we can actually get it to work at the first step. Whether it continues working and whether we can get through it unscathed this time, I do not know. However, what I do know is we need to do the first step. And the first step is to try and get it captured. So let's try and just get... I'll just... no, I need to call it the appropriate thing. I was just going to call it Agatha Christie, but no, I needed the full title, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I required the full title, yes indeed. Right, so I suspect there's nothing there at the moment, but then hopefully something... Anything... New... Yes! There we go, right, we'll engage the profile. Now we just need to resize it and pop it under the overlay. Oh, no, I didn't mean to put it in the overlay world. I really wish you could lock the positions of the folder. But I just... Is there a way? No, I don't think so. Might have to look that up. What did it... Oh, fuck, I put it in the fucking thing. No, I just put it at the bottom of the thing. Christ almighty. Get out. Get out of the folder. Right, and now... Fit to screen. Booyah! Right. First hurdle. Hurdled. Next hurdle is actually playing the game. Now, we've managed to shoot up to 74%.
That wasn't so bad.
It wasn't. It wasn't so bad. It could be. We shall see how this fares. This game has broken me. I don't know whether it's broken pro, but it has sure as shit broken me. Decipher the burnt documents. I'm assuming that's a...
subject.
Okay, fair enough. Or do I have to put the burnt documents on the desk, maybe? No? Oh, maybe just activate the burnt documents. Is that it?
If someone has tried to get rid of these documents, they may be important.
They might be important. What's this one? Oh, that's the other letter.
Poor Mr. Poirot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We remember that bit. No, what we need to do is figure out where we can go to actually... Do we talk to you? Do you have me acid, mate?
So, how are you getting on?
Drop Poirot a quick bit of acid. I don't mind. Whoa! Here's the fucking gate. It is fine. It is acceptable. Now that's interesting. Is that something?
Now, down to work.
Oh, here we go. Okay, are you doing it in front of the mirror for some reason?
What of these needs putting...
Why would you do it here and not at the desk? Because they built the puzzle here as game developers. I suppose zoom in. There we go. And as I'd loosely predicted previously... Oh, interesting. This is not what I loosely predicted previously. But as I had slightly... Oh, no, I'm confused. Oh, no, I'm very confused. Oh, I see. Okay, that piece seems unmovable. Oh, I think I got it right. Because that piece no longer seems to be movable. I suppose that piece goes there. Is that... Yeah? I think it seems to have accepted that as that piece lives there now. And this piece lives there. And then this piece lives there.
This page is finished.
Okay, you're satisfied that's good enough. Fair enough. It's a good day to eat some oranges. It surely is. I mean, I must admit, I only really drink oranges. Just to clarify for people, this piece here, like with the last one, there is one piece that is stuck. I can't move that piece. These pieces, however, I can move. Okay, so I do have to have some semblance of logic as to where to place them, because otherwise they'll snap back. Okay, that's fine. So I think that is probably there. Yeah. And then that's probably lying there. This is the top corner, so that's going to go there. And then it's going there. But it's
page is child's play.
Yeah, this page is child's play. I mean, this whole puzzle is pretty much child's play.
Is finished.
But I'll take it.
And that's 2 done.
Yeah, it is.
Easier than I thought.
I mean, it is actually a lot easier than I thought. I genuinely thought they were going to give me all the pieces, and I'd legitimately have to do some form of, like, proper, somewhat... Oh, no, okay, fair enough. You disagree with my assessment. No. Maybe, no. It's fair. I mean, that's definitely going to be your lower corner, but that... Are you 100% certain? Maybe I've got to line up the shadow? No. Line up that. There we go, okay. It was unsatisfied with my assessment. You even get one free. How much easier could you get? Oh, that's it. That's one of the reasons why it surprises me. I would say that probably goes there. Yeah.
It does not look...
Yeah, all right, Pro. We get it. You're a smart man. This puzzle is not difficult. Oh yeah, no, that fits.
This page is finished.
Fits a bit too well. There's a fucking clipping
Only
issue
one
there.
more. Keep going.
In fact, there's a flipping clipping issue from that area all the way down to that area. You wouldn't have thought they'd allow that to slip through, but apparently they very much did. So I'm assuming that piece surely slots in not quite where I thought it was going to slot in, but fuck it, that'll do. No, that's not. I must admit, that's an awkward piece. Oh, maybe... Oh, no, fine. Again, like, I didn't really place it there. I placed it in the general vicinity of there. Oh, no, that is correct as well. Again, a lot of these are surprising me because they're not... They don't look quite right, but they just go in there. What criminal wouldn't just burn the paper? Well, I think the idea they've tried to burn the paper, but failed. And now I get to dab them down with a little hydrochloric acid. I'm assuming...
A dry cloth.
It is a dry cloth, yes. Do you want me to put... There we go. Okay, we'll pop a little bit of the hydrochlorics on the wet cloth, dry cloth.
Soaked with solvent.
And now, I'm assuming... You're going to just do that for me. Yeah, fair dues.
Got it. Make a note, Hastings. Make a note.
All right.
Mrs. Alice Asher, shop owner in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, prescribed laudanum.
I had medical notes.
I got it. Look.
Oh, and we did find it in the doctor's area, as it were.
Poirot,
Wave the magical cloth. Indeed.
On a fire
Smear the magical liquid on the clue. And by Jove, you too can have a thing. I don't know. Read the reconstructed documents. Okay. I don't think that's the reconstructed documents, is it? Where are the reconstructed documents? Unless no, I think that's the letter again. Yeah. Don't read it. Don't. Poirot! You misbehaving little. Oh, they're right in front of my fucking face. I left them on the unit.
Alice Asher, shopkeeper in Andover.
Oh, we know this bit.
Tracheitis, hemoptysis, chronic cough with lots of blood.
Well, I haven't said that.
Laudanum-based cough medicine. Betty Barnard.
And Betty Barnard again, okay.
Chronic bronchitis.
This is our next
causing dysphonia.
victim.
Advised to stop smoking.
Everybody's advised to stop
Alexander
smoking.
Bonaparte Cust.
Ah!
War wounded, mustard gas and head trauma.
That's our boy.
Pulmonary emphysema. Hemoptysis. Coughing fits with blood. Suffers from absences and amnesia.
Ah, but maybe he doesn't know he's our boy.
Dick
if he suffers.
Dunbar,
Sorry.
owner of the Black Swan Hotel in Doncaster.
I'm sorry,
Asthmatic,
Dick, but you
heart
caught me
disease,
by
heart
surprise.
condition.
Never
Does
sneak
not
up
try
on me
and
with a
get
Dick
our brain
Dudley.
cells to work.
Because frankly, you'll astonish me if I accidentally come across your Dick Dudley. Where did the burned documents come from? Okay. Well, I believe... Yeah, they come from his medical records. Is it going to be just... It is going to be just those ones. Because technically the documents themselves don't tell me where the burned documents come from. Dastardly, Dick Dastardly, yeah.
The burned documents are medical records, and without a doubt, they come from Clark's archives. First of all, because all the patients have throat conditions. And secondly, their name starts with either A, B, C, or D, and it is precisely the files that match these letters that have been tampered with.
But why burn these files? How come the names of the 2 victims appear on them? And who are the 2 other patients?
These are very good questions.
Well, one of them is our killer, and one of them is the next victim, I assume. Dick Dastardly. Dick Dudley. The dickiest dud of the Dudlington. Pick up the phone, there you go. He's probably our next victim.
Hello, Poirot?
Any news, Chief Inspector?
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady, who thought he was behaving suspiciously. He has the most unbelievable name.
Alexander Bonaparte Cust, yeah. Wang Ching! Wang Ching! Dick Dudley Dunbar! No, I think I'm Proro. I already know
Bonaparte
what his
Cust.
name is.
Yes.
Damn
Alexander
straight.
Bonaparte Cust? How did you guess?
Because
Poirot,
I
you
am
have
a
magical powers.
detective.
It's a serious lead. I called Doncaster. A person matching Cust's description has been seen at the station.
Yes,
Got
and
off
you
the
must
train
look
from
out
London,
for Dick
but
Dudley
after
Dunbar.
that, nobody knows where he went.
He is going to see... Oh, shit. Do we know anything about Black Swan? Have we heard Black Swan before? I mean, certainly you don't want to search London. That's completely wrong. The Ginger Cat was old information. Wow! I very much misread that when I just glanced quickly. I read the end word. What happened? I'll just explain what happened with your sentence, Blue Bush. I looked over because it flashed up. So I looked over and thought, what's that say? And I just sort of saw the first word and the end word. So I was seeing sorry, and then I saw what I thought was the word pants. And then I started reading the rest of the sentence, and basically it became, sorry, had to deal with a scary-looking spider. It had taken residence among my pants. But, yes. Yes, no, do you know what? I had one fucking persistent little shit. Now, it wasn't particularly scary-looking, I'd like to point out. It was just a, tiny, tiny little thing. Absolutely tiny little thing. But it's like, it was coming across the desk, and I thought, no, you go the other way now. So I gave it a, I gave it a blow and it went off satisfied. No, I blew air from my mouth like that, just to sort of discourage it from heading in my direction. And so it sort of went, oh, and sort of blew across the desk a little bit, because it was only a tiny, tiny little spider. So, a little puff of air from me was enough to make it sort of blow back across the desk. And by Jove, that little fucker went, no, I don't care if it's windy. I don't care if there's people. I'm going in this direction. So he came fucking back. I blew him again and fucking came back. He eventually got the message, but flipping Nora, the man, Sydney the Spider. He is a man. He's the Spider-Man. A bastard thing did not take the hints. I'm gonna say Black Swan because it feels like
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
a piece of information, but
What? How do you know he's there?
I don't.
Trust me, Chief Inspector.
It's just
Appear to be very sure of
I
yourself.
took an educated guess
Well,
based
I'll
on the
call Black
options
Swan
given
straight
to
away.
me.
The owner is going to get a shock when he learns that there's a murderer under his roof.
Encourage Jap. Call instead of... What? Call instead of Jap. Oh, is this to warn the hotel? Jap can do
Do
that.
your best, Jap.
Oh, that's
You can
definitely...
count on me.
That's definitely not feeling Proro, is it? That felt very out of character. Do your
Hastings,
best.
everything is at stake. With a little luck, our main suspect will soon be under lock and key.
It would be nice. It would be nice. What are you painting at the moment, then?
So
I'm
has
assuming
Cust been arrested?
if you've reached for
Yes,
your
the
paints,
Doncaster police are sending
you
him
have
patrol.
managed
That is
to...
good news.
you are, in
But
fact,
why
doing some
support me,
painting.
Chief
But I
Inspector?
managed to suck it up with the Hoover. Happy with my achievement. I sat back down and just sit in another corner. God damn it.
He collapsed.
He's dead?
No, fortunately, but it has taken its toll on him. It has to be said that with his name starting with the letter D, he had every reason to fear Cust. I bet he was going to be the next victim.
I know Dumba's medical records, yeah.
Chief Inspector, I believe that I share
Oh, dear.
responsibility for this incident.
What do you mean?
I saw Mr. Dunbar's medical records. His heart was weak. I should have warned you.
It's very honest of you to tell me that, Poirot. I appreciate your gesture.
I don't think there was an opportunity for me to actually
You can count on me. I'll do
provide
what's
the
needed.
medical
I will
details.
visit him at his bedside when the killer is caught.
That's typical of you, Poirot. We should focus on the next part of the investigation in order to avoid other incidents. While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London.
Where does he live?
The Marbury Guest House?
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out a few details for Cust's transfer.
I understand. À bientôt. Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go and search the room of our number one suspect.
With pleasure. I did have a dentist appointment, but I'll cancel.
Your dentist
Dentist.
appointment's far more important.
So that is why you were so nervous and bad-tempered.
A visit to the dentist is never an enjoyable prospect.
But an
Only if you
unavoidable
fuck
one.
your teeth
Go
up.
to your appointment, Hastings.
Brush twice
I
a
will
day,
monitor my own.
and you'll be pretty much good. I say that, that's not technically true. You can still fuck up your teeth, even after brushing twice a day.
To Marbury Guest House, please.
A gold paper knife is part of my collection. The Marbury Guest House. Let's have a look.
Marbury. There is a very pretty village by this name in Cheshire.
Ah, I did not know that.
I've been going past this modest guest house for so long. I would never have thought that the ABC case would lead me here.
And there's another cat up there. Suspicious. I suspect so. Go through the door. Can we do anything here? No, no, nothing obvious. Hello, madame. I'm here. Am I allowed to ring the bell? Oh,
It looks
that's a
like
shame.
I've found the real master of this house.
A big. You can tell I was laughing just a little bit before I was about to say a big golden pussy. Cat portrait, cushion with hairs. I mean, they get
There is
fucking
no
everywhere.
need to worry
Cat
about the
hair.
household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
Probably. You just hope that what it pleases isn't something unpleasant. Let's talk to you.
How
I'd
do
like
you
to go
do?
upstairs,
You must
please.
be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jupp told me that you might be coming.
Why would I get annoyed seeing her peel potatoes? Ah, there we go. I was going to say, it took quite a length of time for that emote to pop up in the chat, which is interesting. But cool cats, the cats who were cool. I don't really understand why I'd get annoyed at seeing her peel potatoes, but I suppose she should be doing it in the kitchen. You should be doing that in the
I
kitchen.
do not think that this is the right time to be peeling potatoes.
My lodgers have got to eat.
Yeah.
But you are contravening health regulations.
She makes a very good point.
Well, it's
She probably
not as
should be
serious
doing
as
it
killing
in the
someone.
kitchen, but...
I just wanted to help you. I've suspected
Oh,
him
I
for
kinda wanna
some
go back in
but
time
he
now.
appeared so harmless.
It's a secret
Yes,
potato
sometimes he
phobia.
got angry and waved his arms about.
I am Hercule Poirot.
Even
I
then,
cannot
he
stand the
wasn't
sight of a naked
frightening.
potato.
And he was as
It's
gentle as
the
a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, But my daughter saw him at Euston Station.
Yeah, that's because he's
It's
gone to
not the right station. To get
Doncaster.
to Tottenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr.
That's
Custer
unfair.
left behind an ABC
Don't take the
with
train from
Doncaster
Paddington.
underlined.
He likes that train.
But when I see
He
how
likes
I'm
sitting
being
there as a
treated,
little
I
tiny
wonder
bear
if I
going
was
choo
right.
choo choo. Okay, so congratulate her for her observation. Ask her how she knew about the ABC. No, I'll congratulate her, I guess. I am back on the case for now. We shall see how long it lasts.
To warn the police.
But we are currently in the investigation mode of Hercule Poirot.
Well, he's
We
odd.
now pretty much know that
Sometimes
Mr.
he
Cust is the
really
murderer,
loudly
it
and
seems.
complains that his throat is burning, and sometimes he talks to himself and stares into space. He told me that it was because of a wound he got in the wall.
I
His
believe
head
we've
hasn't been
saved
quite
Mr.
right
D,
since he
which was
said-
Dick Dudley.
And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered.
Can't
I
even,
found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He
It
didn't
amuses
want
me too
to wash
much,
his
Dick Dudley.
shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
That's where he shat himself. I mean... where might prove
Where was
more
the stains on the shirt?
On
productive.
the collar and on the buttonholes.
Got used to travel for his work.
Yeah,
Is that
so
correct?
when he
it
sliced a
wasn't
man's
for
throat, you would have got
pleasure. He was
blood there.
always unwell on trains. But he had
I talk to
sell
myself
his
all the time.
stockings
Haven't killed
around
any
England.
millionaires though.
I have to reserve
Yet.
engagements, he used to say.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th.
No, I don't know. That was a while ago, you know.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah! I remember one thing. Bexhill's by the sea, right?
Yes.
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cast asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Maybe. Ask her to
Very
continue.
interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
Trophies. When he started buying newspapers. Yeah, when did he
When did he
start?
start buying the newspapers?
Because if it was after it was
Yes.
revealed in
I
the
think it was just after
newspapers.
the millionaire's murder in Churston.
Yeah, which
He
is
didn't
when we
seem all that
revealed
interested
the
before
details
that.
of the case to the press.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
So he
Take
got
the key on the
interested.
counter.
He got interested in the murders. I will take this key, but I may look at your potatoes first. No? Oh, no, that's interesting. Oh, I suppose I can take the key, but also look at the book. We'll look at the book
I don't think
first.
my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
If I want to look at the book, I will look at the fucking book. As usual, Poirot misunderstands how to open a book. Maybe that's just the Belgian way.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to
I
Mrs.
look forward to seeing this person's puzzle cabinet and or map. I mean, in fairness, if this is the murderer... Oh, okay, fine. You decided to come out of the screen. I should have taken the key first, it would
I
seem.
have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Do you? Okay. What would you like to say to Mrs. Marbury? Stop it with the potatoes. No, in fair. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, I'll observe her first. Let's investigate her
Woman appears to be in a
peelings.
good mood.
I mean, fucking great big smile on her face. Yeah, I'd say so. Peeling what looks... I'm assuming that's just a potato that's not received a texture? Or maybe it's meant to be in shadow? I don't know, but she is peeling a black potato. Which is interesting.
I really would like to help, but I think I've said all I have to say.
Well, I don't necessarily agree. But I'm looking at you nonetheless. Have you...
Mrs.
No,
Marbury
okay,
is
there
in
we
a
go.
good mood. She's
I thought the
working
game
very
had gotten stuck or
precisely
something
in producing
ridiculous.
Incredibly thin peel.
Which would have been at least new, I suppose. But you seem to think you wanted to say
Mrs.
something to
Marbury,
her, but I'm not
If I am
convinced.
to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder. Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
Yes,
Oh.
I remember.
I didn't notice that in the booklet.
Just for one night as a favour. Mr. Cust was away, all my other rooms were taken, and poor Mr. Fishman had nowhere to go.
I see. Indicate that it is illegal. Yeah, go on.
You rented the same room to 2 people. Very profitable, but quite illegal.
But I didn't harm anyone. I was only helping everybody out.
That is not the point. Arrest this woman, lock her up, throw away the key. And now I will go and investigate further. Okay, this is Cust's room. But yes, I think I was saying, if this is the murderer, I got distracted, I think. If this is the murderer, this might be the ultimate in puzzle cabinets. Maybe he's got the whole wardrobe. He's got underpants.
Most probably the
or bathing
bathing
trunks,
dress
fair enough.
prepared by Mrs.
I mean,
Marbury's expert
you say
help.
dress. It's not what I was expecting when you said dress earlier on.
All
But
the
still.
main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churston murder onwards. Nothing before that date. The Bexhill Daily paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder.
Bathing dress. It is a pretty odd term.
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
I do wonder if we're being sort of led up the garden path at this point. But we'll see. Because it's almost feeling like this is too easy. Because his name matches perfectly with the ABC thing. Every piece of evidence leads towards him. And that often means they're going to twist it.
Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Ash. This subject will probably be useful to me.
I mean, only if you've got a cough, mate. But fine. Thievery again, Poirot. Thievery again. Sedatives. Now that'll prove far more useful, surely. Am I supposed to be sort of finding something specific here? Or... No?
Diethyl barbituric
okay, interesting.
acid. Johnson Company.
I think it's going the Phoenix
know this medicine.
Phoenix Wright wrote.
Is a powerful
Yeah,
sedative.
you know who did it. Now prove it. That's
This
fair.
subject will probably
You
be
just want to see
useful
funny things for a fun afternoon. Laudanum, I think, is quite the drug. Oh, look in the mirror, of course. Are you going to do the old, yeah? Butt wiggle! Enjoy my butt wiggle. It's so very good. I'm butt wiggling like a pro.
ABC guides.
Lots and
Enough
lots
to
of
sign about
ABC
a dozen
guides.
murders.
Yeah, well, I suppose arguably he had intended to go from A to Z.
closed.
It's
It's closed.
how have you considered opening it then, Pro? Doesn't seem like that much of a difficult task. Use the key. Just whoosh, whoosh, across it. No, apparently he refuses. Is there actually anything else here then? Oh, the label?
It's closed.
No, it's closed. Fine. Is that
ABC guide.
No. Interesting. I seem to have the sedative, the bottle. I suppose maybe there is something else I can pick up that will allow me to open that box. Which, frankly, makes little to no sense. You could just use your hands. But I suppose it is Poirot. He doesn't tend to use his hands, does he? He usually has his hands behind his
This
back.
place is a real mess.
Just to make sure nobody can... crockery in a mess. I mean, I thought maybe clicking on the label... I might get... worst case scenario, I'll go back in a moment and try. But as far as I could tell, clicking on the label simply activated the box
At least we can
as a
say
thing.
that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
So, as I say, we'll have a look around the rest of the room if nothing else presents itself. So is that the...
At least we can say that Mr. Cust
Okay, that's
is
just
not
that
very
bit again.
concerned about order and balance.
Shut up. Look at the desk first. Oh, here we go. Maybe I can use that knife. I'm going to thieve his knife as well.
A long-bladed knife. A murderer's weapon.
I mean, in fairness, I've got several fucking knives. Not necessarily long-bladed, but nonetheless, several knives, so not always a murderer's weapon.
It's an
Well, unless
ABC.
I've just admitted to a crime, which I haven't.
Cast is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
He's got tiny pencil nubs. That's why he's so angry.
Did Cast drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
Well, you'd have hoped while she was cleaning, she'd have picked it back up and cleaned it a bit more, but so. Let's have a look at this ink splodge.
John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street.
Oh, I suppose this is
Leicester.
to A.B. Cust. I was going to say,
Cust,
intriguing.
Marbury's Guest House,
It doesn't match, but
1935,
it wasn't written on his
May the 21st.
typewriter.
Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business.
Making a mess while cleaning is how you know you're done
Regarding
cleaning.
the
Yeah.
schedule of your rounds, please do as following.
That
June
letter's been
21,
moved?
Andover.
In what way?
Arrive by train the 20th in the
Oh,
evening,
because of the
at
ink
Station
splash, I
Hotel.
suppose, yeah.
Start your
Well, I haven't said
tour
that. There's
in
ink.
the north part of the
Well, yeah, I
town.
suppose it's dripping as well, so.
This
You might be
letter
right.
establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes.
Well, we shall try. But crucial thing is going to be the typewriter,
I have to get the
because if
ribbon.
this matches up,
How am I going to do it?
I don't know. I must admit, in an old school typewriter, I'm not entirely sure how you would get the ribbon, but I suppose arguably I've only got so many things I can interact with. Alright, oh, there we go. Okay, we'll spin that
Right-hand
bad boy
here
off.
has been removed.
Okay, so I'm assuming then we want to do this one. To be honest, I don't know why you're faffing around with this. Oh, although having said that, yeah, you can see that the ribbon is going to be relatively important, it would seem, but it might have been worthwhile. Although, again, I don't understand old school typewriters. I suppose this might be based on the fact that this is
And
what
here
was
is the ribbon.
once,
Let us see if
you
it
know,
was indeed used to write the letters sent
Ju-
by ABC.
just the message. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The letter
Only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry.
is on the ribbon.
Let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes.
Is the one they've only just written. I don't know what I'm saying, but still, whatever. So
All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
yes, I would say so, because you can see the I, the double I, and the I'm assuming the dropped A is there somewhere. But we can go back to the box now, and fine, if you insist, I will use a knife. I will
This
knife
knife
that
is
box.
very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string.
Now,
Stockings.
I don't know. Is that the right brand of
Stockings.
stockings? Stockings. 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 Do we have anything else available to us? I don't think we do. I can't look at... That is the brand, fair enough.
War of 1914, 1918.
I wasn't 100%
By the
sure.
King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service.
No, he's
An
not
army
gallant and
dispatch,
dispatch.
wounded on the Somme
He's
front,
not gallant anymore.
victim of a gas attack. Corporal Cust greatly deserves his distinction.
Not the Murray, don't. Murderers don't deserve distinction. If he is the murderer, of course. Oh, no, that's the thing again. That's just on the desk again. Is that? I'm pretty certain that's going to be the desk again. Yeah. Oh, he's put the knife back. Fair dues. Fair dues, Poirot. Let's just have a quick butcher's what the actual goal is. It is still search Cust's room, so there must be something else that is noteworthy for me to look at. I'm assuming that's all wardrobe, but we'll go back into the wardrobe, see if there was anything else. No. Huh. That's true, we do need a sort of reason why is always a good one. Oh, there's a little piece on the floor. Blood.
This dark stain. It could be blood.
But it's in front of the
Goodness knows
sink.
how
It
long
could
it has
easily
been.
have been a shaving cut or some
Let us now
such.
try and get our
Here
brain
we
cells
go.
to work.
Right, so where was Cust at the time of the Bexhill murder? Okay. Bexhill was... Yeah, Bexhill was July 25th, so he was out. We can say that. Now, I don't know whether it's the repair. Oh, I don't think that helps. But bathing dress? No. Okay, fair dues. Repaired? No. Okay. I suppose it, oh, there we go. Okay, it's the newspaper. Cust was probably... It probably doesn't cut it, Proro. Does it, mate? Yeah?
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in
Oh,
Bexhill on
he brought
July
it
the
in
25th.
Bexhill. Sorry, I misinterpreted
No
it.
use continuing
I thought
the
it was
inspection of this room.
a newspaper
I've
based on the
seen
case
all
of
there is to
Bexhill,
see.
not... It was bought in Bexhill. I must have misread somewhere along the line. What do you want me to do now? Talk to Jap. I will try and find my Jap. That just sounded incredibly racist, didn't it, that time? It wasn't intended to, I assure you.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
Bye.
A
Chief
woman
Inspector,
of
I was about to
simple
leave.
words.
Good
Bye.
morning, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
Oh, it's weird that that voice
I'm
rings
sorry
a
I'm
vague
late.
bell.
I've spent ages with the Doncaster police.
I suppose it's not that
And
weird.
you?
It's probably
I have
a voice
established
actor
one
of some
fact.
kind.
On 3
And
occasions,
therefore may have done other
Cust
things,
was at the
but
scene on the
no,
day of the
it's the
crime.
first one that's sprung out as feels recognisable, but still. Anyway, I guess we'll. Oh no! Hey, Proro. Okay. Apparently. Oh, do I need to give him the reel? Because outside of that, he's refusing. Even if I touch him on the crotch, he's refusing. So I'll try giving him the reel. No, I'll try giving him a sedative. Go to sleep, Jap. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, little Jap. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Jap. Maybe I just have to leave now?
It is now the right time.
No. Interesting. Ah, okay. It was
I had best
the
talk to
same glitch we came across in the old lady's bedroom. I had to interact with something else
I've listened
for it to
closely to
rejigger
what
the
you have
mouse
to
to
say, Poirot.
decide it could
For me,
interact with
there's
Jack.
no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any
I
element
like
that
the game,
might
but it
prove
has
the
issues.
contrary?
Let's put it this way.
That is what we're going to look for.
Now, I'm
Let's
willing
now
to accept the
try
technical
and get
issues on
our
my
brain
side, so
cells
I'm
to
not,
work.
I'm not necessarily blaming the game for that. But even outside of the technical issues, the game itself has distinct issues within it that are clearly the game's element. So, I guess he was in Andover for Alice Asher's, yeah. Oh, there you go. The fact that he's got blood on him, the fact that he suffers from hemoptysis might be reasonable. He was in Churston, and he was in Bexhill. Cust was, in fact, in all of the Downs. Are there any common points between Cust and the killer? Well, I don't know if I was going to say, all of them come from the typewriter, so that's got to be one, isn't it? He has a knife like the one used. And he has ABC guides. That's the one. He could have committed these crimes. Is Cust's behaviour suspicious? He keeps trophies, essentially. He lies about his destinations, and he has blood on him. That's the one. He's guilty! Guilty. As judged.
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, the blood Mrs. Marbury's on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cuts a Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes. Yet we see quite the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Cheston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can you talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
Well,
It's plausible.
I was going to say,
Doctors say he suffers from absences
it
and
did
amnesia.
state
Mrs.
he had
Marbury has
amnesia.
confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
I have done that.
Chief Inspector,
But
I too
feel free if you want
removing
to
a
feel
few clues
important.
to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm
No,
going to see if
no,
you've missed
Chief
something.
Inspector. What you do in that situation is you go, are you an official police officer? No, you're not. Put them back. So Poirot's Mind Palace thing decides he's guilty, then Poirot's dialogue immediately throws doubt on it. Yes, that's true. A little bit daft, but there you go. Anyway, let's get back to the house with my drugs. Because remember, Poirot, you haven't
Just
taken
Scotland Yard,
any
please.
evidence other than drugs. You are going to get high on laudanum, and then you're going to bring yourself back down with some sedatives. Actually, I don't know if laudanum gets you high. I think it does. I think most painkillers will get you high in some fashion, won't they? That's part of the whole thing. Oh, I also took the ribbon, didn't I? All right, let's have a look around. I've got a candelabra moustache. Just going to try intimidating him by walking around the table. No, I accidentally clicked a button when I hadn't intended to. Mr. Gust.
This man is not in good shape.
Was nobody keeping an eye on what? On the murder suspect. Oh. No, I don't suppose they were. Or not inside the room at the very least. Is that? Oh, crumpled jacket. Fair enough. Lowered eyes, shaky hands, crumpled jacket.
He is worried and very tired. And other police have been hard on him.
Well, he's in fucking custody. He might think he did the murders. He probably did do the murders.
From me?
He just doesn't remember doing the murders. Present yourself. Ask if he knows who is speaking to him. Oh, yeah. Because he's been writing to Poirot, hasn't he? So, I feel like this is the better option. Do you know me? If he says no, there you go. You've got to have something to wave around and stare at while high. Oh, what the ribbon! Yeah, woo, yeah! Look at it flow, bro.
Good day, ABC. Do you know who I am?
Someone who's got it in for me.
Yeah, see, he didn't.
I am Hercule Poirot, and I want nothing other than the
I don't
truth.
think he knew me.
Ah, you're the detective.
Yeah, you should already know that. Oh, now, direct or indirect? Let's be direct on this occasion. I think.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
When you are behind bars or hung for murder. I see. Is there a way
I am not going to leave before
Nope,
I've
that
finished
is fair
questioning
enough. I just wondered. Oh, I do have. Can I offer him cough medicine?
it. Take this.
Yes,
It
I
will help
can.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Oh, am I supposed to be? No, I think this is just a scene where he drinks. Poorly.
Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well
Does he
enough to
have
speak?
hair, or is that Moss
Yes, I
talking?
feel much better.
Like how the interrogation room is festive, yeah. They've not taken down their Christmas decorations in the interrogation room yet. Especially in this bit. In this screen, it looks quite good, because it does look like they stretch from the corner of the room to the corner of the room, and the little tiny tree is just off to the side. Anyway, so why did you send the
Why
letters?
did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why
We're
all
back
these
to this.
questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
When you answer the bloody questions. Get him to admit that he is forgotten. Acknowledge his innocence. Interesting. I mean, I'm now becoming more and more convinced that he is innocent, but
Maybe
at the
you
moment,
forgot that you wrote this letter.
we're along the
Yes,
lines
it's
that
true.
he is guilty.
Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Accuse him of being a killer. Admit that you do not believe he is a murderer. Well, I mean, strictly speaking, I am beginning to not believe he's a murderer, is the honest truth. So I'm wondering if I should go down the honest path for the player of the game, as opposed to potentially Poirot's thought track. Plus, I mean, as you pointed out, his dialogue immediately threw doubt on the idea that he was guilty. So, do you know what? I do not believe you are the
believe
murderer.
that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cuss.
I hope not.
Get him to talk about the army. Yeah, go on. Just
You suffered
casual
during the war.
conversation on this
It's
occasion.
true. I was wounded. I suffered. But
That's the nastiest
the
injury of
army
all.
was the only place I didn't feel inferior.
I suffered, but
No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
get him to believe he is innocent. Go on, we'll
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Oh, he's now agitated, though. Witnesses saw him in Three Towns. Ask him if he acknowledges going to the Three Towns. Yeah, we'll go for that
Do you
one.
deny being at the scene of a crime?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to
I've
visit.
apparently received new thumbnails. Good. I shall use them for the YouTube videos.
The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterward.
Interesting. Also, when did we establish some of these? I don't know whether it's me or whether it's the game some details seem to just crop up, and I swear we've never heard them before. Like the whole, he wasn't actually hired by the Silky Legs company. I don't remember that piece of information ever being present before. It feels like it's just suddenly come out of nowhere here. But maybe I'm wrong. As I say, it's slightly difficult because, of course, I'm trying to... Emphasis on the trying part, I suppose, but I'm trying to do it in an entertaining fashion. So some of the finer details of the case do tend to get lost in the me trying to talk over the dialogue and be entertaining. But anyway, so it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself. It proves that you wrote them. Wow, now, it could have been someone who owned the typewriter before him.
You typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God. I don't know what's happening to me. My head
Or
hurts
he's
terribly.
full-on schizophrenic. There is always that possibility. Well, I don't know if it's considered schizophrenic anymore. Split personality. I don't know if that's the official term now. Or what have you. Question cast a bit more. That's fine. I can do... Oh, no, he's shivering like a shitting dog. Oh,
I am not going to leave before I've finished questioning him.
This is probably the most frustrating of the issues. When you come out of dialogue, the mouse cursor doesn't do the highlights. So I didn't realise he was still interactable. But there you go. Let's look at him again.
He's prey to a terrible anxiety. Is it remorse? Or simply the pressure of the questioning and the stranger?
Well, we did suggest he didn't like trains.
He is in no state to reply.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to sedate him now.
Fuck me!
Oh, yeah, apparently I am
It will help
to sedate the man. I've drugged him up with laudanum. Now I'm sedating him. And welcome, Mr. Albion Craft. I would consider fucking you, but only if you're feeling better.
I think I'll be fine.
I wouldn't want to put your system through
Let us see, Cust.
a good fucking
You know very
if you're
well
not
that
feeling
you
up to
committed
it.
these murders.
I believe you felt
Yes,
rotten this morning.
I know.
I might be wrong. Maybe
But
I'm getting
not wrong in
confused.
saying that you do not
It's
know why you committed
oft
them.
the case.
No, I don't.
We're investigating the ABC murderers. Well, murders, sorry. I think it's just one murderer. Right, okay. You
Let
ready
us
for
leave
more?
Cust alone. He's at the end of his
Oh, fair
tether.
enough. Oh, talk to Jap now is the situation. Kind gesture, but I'm a
what
ball of
conclusions have
phlegm
you
wrapped
drawn?
in projectile bodily fluids. That is
Might help us to
unfortunate.
understand him a little
Certainly not a
better.
good start to the new year. And Happy New Year to you too.
Let us now try and get our brain
Oh,
cells
we
to
are
work.
getting the little grey cells to work inside our brainiums. What do we know about Cust's health? He suffers from absences. Yeah, he's got a problem with his throat. I'm assuming that one. And then absent. Yeah, there you go. God damn you! And amnesia. And amnesia. And amnesia. So, are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churston murder? Well, in specifically the Churston murder. Interesting. You would expect a murderer to keep newspaper articles about all his crimes. And the blood spurted out in the direction of the sea. Okay, so I think it's the two blood ones. Oh no, it's going to be the buttonholes and the blood. There we go. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes. Yet it is not the case. Do not support his guilt. Okay. Let's have a look. Well, I mean, him having no reason to kill them seems like a good way of supporting it. Oh, hello. Oxydreams. I'm assuming you are a bot. If you're not a bot, simply say, I apologise. I put a dot in somewhere by accident. I was trying to link something entertaining. But feel free to say something else. But there you go. These backgrounds being random annoy me. It's asking about Churston, but shows the Bexhill case. Fuck, you're right. I would not have spotted that, truth be told. My God. You need to be the investigator in this, because I do not pay attention. Well, it's intriguing. Because none of these are technically clues that do not support Cust's guilt. There's the notion that he did not write the letters. There's the notion he had no reason to kill them. But they're not actual clues. But I still think that might be the ones. They are not. Okay. He did not appear to recognise him. No. He had blood on him? No, if anything, that's more evidence. Oh, okay, it's the Churston documents. And why does the fourth option have a lower quality border? Oh! Again, have you considered changing career paths to be an investigator? Because you're very observant. Because I didn't notice that. Unless, was it because I'd already selected it? No. No, the borders don't change. So yeah, it must have just been just a weird thing in the game, I assume. They didn't notice it or some such. Unless it's meant to be, like, there is a certain level of kind of raggedness on the inside. I don't know whether that was affecting it or not, but still. Can we say without shadow of a doubt that Cust is guilty? He had no reason, and he did not send the letters, or he says he did not send the letters. We now suggest not guilty. Poirot is Poirot. He is entitled to change his mind.
Before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
My God, I just got 15 ego
Let's
points.
keep it
That's quite
simple.
something.
Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Who hasn't lied to their
Because
landlady?
deep down, he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us
I am
look at his
Poirot.
psychological profile.
Was
You will
sure.
understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to
Draw
work.
up a psychological profile of Cust. If you insist. Oh, interesting. I didn't do that one. Oh, I see. So that's what we're deciding is the murderer's. Oh, this could be interesting. If I'm correct. So I think what they're saying here is the killer is clever. Is Cust clever? We don't know. Didn't grow up in luxury, but that doesn't mean sort of cleverness. Blimey. Do you want a tinier font game? It's not that obnoxious to read. It's just, I suppose it's because it's got so much. Yeah, oh, do you know what? This game is built in Unity. You may have noticed it flash up at the beginning. If sometimes it's ready and showing the image, sometimes it's not on screen. But nonetheless, it's built in Unity, which means that is a standard, not very well thought out text box built in Unity, where the more text you write, the smaller it gets, I think. But I suppose at least all the text is in there. I suppose that's something. So, yeah, he sort of waved his arms around. Medium-sized glasses, dark suit, and a felt hat. Stop feeling your hat. Not the sort of man you'd notice, completely harmless. Now, that's... I mean, I may just have to start taking some guesses. Because none of these... cream. That one's the most likely. That one's probably the first one I'm going to try. Some harmless. Yeah, we'll try this one. Yeah, there you go. He's mediocre, not clever. Simply mediocre. The killer is self-confident. We've got that one, don't we? Hesitant and shy. Easy to influence. Is Cust a seducer? Stockings. Did not grow up in luxury. Angry and wave his arms. Not the sort of man you'd notice. He is without the charm. My God. Do you know what? I might find the evidence to suggest he didn't do the murders, but I am going to fucking break this man's mind when I go in there and go, do you know why you're innocent? You are not clever, you are a mediocre man. You are not a seducer, you are insignificant. You are fucking incredible. But why did he have the ABC books? I think I'm beginning to suspect the idea is going to be that someone sent him the typewriter. Someone wrote the letters up first, sent him the typewriter. They sent him the stockings and they sent him the ABC novels, or books rather. So I feel like... no, he does not like trains, in fact. We know this one. Unwell on trains. Does not like trains. Maybe the murderer likes trains. He is cold. It's cost impulsive. No, I don't think that one. I think it's this one where he gets angry and waves his arms. Oh, he is cold. So apparently that matches up. Fair enough. And he is generous. Yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, it's got to be this one. He did not grow up in luxury, so he keeps... Oh. Cust is parsimonious. Which I must admit, off the top of my head, I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's similar to Miserly. He is not generous. He's slightly hoardy and bringing in sort of keeping things until they run out completely.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
I don't know, retire. You're not very good at the police.
Just give me 24 hours.
That's a bold claim, isn't it? You've done fuck all in 2 months, Poirot, and yet you think you're going to solve the mystery in 24 hours. Go home. Yeah, go home, Poirot. Go on. Get yourself away, son.
To White Heaven, please.
In fairness as well, we're suggesting the killer is clever. Technically speaking, there is evidence to suggest that is not the case, because he got the address to Poirot's house wrong.
Details. Ah, mon ami.
With Cust as a fall guy, who do you think did it? I don't know, is the honest truth at this point.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
Oh.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Mostly your lips, in fairness. I haven't mentioned it in the past, but Hastings' lips are just enormous, and they do slightly freak me out.
What you have in mind?
I don't know whether it's just because he's got a really tiny moustache that it makes his lips look much bigger, but he just looks like he's got enormous lips. Like, too big for his face, that's the problem. I've got not necessarily got anything against large lips, but they look too big for the man's face. I'm afraid that they may have their own revolver. I'll look at the Hastings hunting again, but I don't think this is of any real significance or pertinence.
Hastings
there we go.
Photo.
Yes, he's very, very proud of his bag. Yes, I remember that statement previously. I don't think I really needed to look in this, but never mind.
Just
And amnesia.
11,
God damn you.
Population 500 inhabitants. Hourly of trains. London Churston. Trains of evening. London 6:45 p.m. Newton about.
Oh, yeah, we know that, man. I just got sort of mesmerised into listening to it again. Right, so what is our official... Bring the revolver to Hastings. Hastings? Why can't you go and get your own fucking revolver? Why do I have to go and get your fucking revolver for you? Anyway, first things first, as usual, look in the mirror. Can't bring a revolver to Hastings if I look bad. I mean, it's impressive if you can do it. You are standing a fair distance away from that mirror, but I got the ego points all the same. Hastings, did you mention where you put your revolver? I'll turn the fan on. With my telekinetic powers!
Some cool hair.
Where is the revolver? Is it in the library? Oh, is it in the bookcase? It definitely looks more bookcase than revolver case. Oh, there you go.
Blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
Oh. Interesting.
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullet.
Oh. Oh. I mean, oh. I don't know. I mean, if shit goes down, we probably want real bullets.
Loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
But if someone steals the gun... I didn't actually mean to exit there, but let's just double check the gun. I think at the moment we've got real bullets in it. Huh. Unless, of course, I suspect Hastings.
Ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
Mix the ammo and see what happens, yeah. Do you know what?
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
God damn you, game. I didn't expect a choice like this, but I'm going to go blanks. Because Hastings has been agitated throughout the last couple of months. And he's assumed it was just the thing, but maybe Hastings has gone fucking mad. Yeah, I'm not going to trust Hastings.
Voila, I don't trust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used. It is almost new.
Okay, I've got the Gandhi moustache. I'm assuming that's because I chose peace instead of aggressive ammunition. But nonetheless, yeah, okay. I mean, this is one of those age-old ones where I may have screwed it up for
Chief
the
Inspector,
worst.
is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found
You
prints
definitely
made
haven't
by
checked the
Cust
ribbon reel. It's in
and
my
his
pocket,
landlady.
mate.
Well, never
Whose
mind,
moustache was the other trophy?
So, are you still going
I don't know if we
hold
want to
your
know.
meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
What's that coming up at the
What
stairs?
forces
Is it my
here, Mr.
guests
Poirot?
now? It is my guests
Since Cuss'
now.
arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
If he had simply wanted to play with me, he
Xenophobia?
could have phoned
Maybe
up
he
and we
didn't
would have
like you
made a
because
play
you're foreign.
date. My mother is very
And
accommodating.
I
She
may
would have
be
lent me
wrong,
my
but
her car. I could have
maybe
come
by
over
provoking
and
you,
any
he was
time.
looking for glory.
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to
Okay.
work.
This feels like this feels quite like we're at the end. We shall see. Why did the murderer mistake a mistake in the address? Oh. Is that true? Not very well known. That might be why. Piece of envelope with the wrong address. Body was still warm. Error in address. Challenge Poirot for glory. Xenophobia. Murderer was warned prior about the murders. Well, I'm assuming that it's got to be the address isn't particularly well known. And is it? Is it one of those ones where it is just? No. Okay, fine. No. I take all the stuff at the bottom as true, even if you don't know where the info is from. Yes. So, yeah, I don't think anything to do with the Merle. Yeah, it might be. No, okay. I suppose it must be. No. Okay. Why did the murderer make a mistake in the address? I feel like the challenge is possibly the next one along, but I just don't quite know the combination. The first question is almost always the hardest because they give you all of the evidence. I suppose maybe it's not that, and maybe it is the fact that it saved the murderer. But apparently not so much. Maybe nothing to do with that. Huh. This could prove troublesome. Unless it is... We have got the serious case of the because I've got to get 3 pieces of evidence to suggest why did the murderer make a mistake in the address. I mean, it feels like it's because he's just a fucking moron. It's got to be... It's got to be the fact that it's not very well known, surely. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be that one. Do you know what? I'm going to get that right at the top, because I feel like it's that one. But then... I suppose... Age-old system in point-and-click game. You apply every possible iteration of options methodically as you try to just brute force your way into a solution. Whoops, no, that one is meant to be staying there. Ding, ding, ding. Dang it. I mean, I must admit, we're running out of brute force options. Yeah. We've actually managed to run out of brute force options there, so I have to gonna have to go maximum brute force. The outcomes of getting the address wrong shouldn't be a reason why the address was wrong. That's true, but in the past they have included a piece of evidence to suggest that something was wrong as part of the question. So they have got a track record of doing that, I feel. Oops. At the moment, until I come up with a better solution, which might end up being look it up if nothing works. But brute force may end up being the only path available to me. No, that can't. No, it must. Yeah, because those two would have been together. Wait, no. I've miscalculated my brute force, I think. No, now I'm very confused. Shit. Yeah, no, we did that one. I have definitely miscalculated my brute force. I've gotten lost and confused in my own brute force methods. But it's fine. Damn it. This is going to take a while, isn't it? Might be quicker to think about it a bit more instead of using this brute force method, but... Okay, so at this point, I think we want to be able to go this one, and then that one, and then that one. Just bear with me while we try and figure out a way of using every single answer here. And even then, I feel like I'm still going to have ended up accidentally missing something somewhere. Oops. Okay, so it was late arrival, error in address caused the letter to be late, and the murderer had his doodahs. Whatever that third one was that I missed. Wow. Okay, why did the killer send his letters to Hercule Poirot? So, at this point, we either think it's an inferiority complex, glory, or xenophobia. Which means we either think it's her... Oh no, this is a declaration by Mary Drower. Glory? Nope. Inferiority complex? Nope. Hatred of fire? Nope. Okay, apparently all of the obvious... Oh, I see. He wrote to Poirot because his address is not very well known. I don't know if that makes sense, Poirot, but...
Is everything clear now?
No. As mud, my friend.
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Interesting. You have a flower on your lapel. You've never had a flower on your lapel before.
It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
No, it is not.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad... he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer
A
is
Jekyll
not
and
mad.
Hyde style
All the
situation,
specialists
you
agree
think?
that he does not have the profile of a psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
He was simply in the
Mr.
wrong
Clark,
place
the
at the
answer
wrong
to your
time.
question is in the medical records of your
No,
brother's
that's true. In
patients.
fairness,
Documents which
he would have been
Cust
told
most
by
certainly
his
did not have
company,
access to.
quote-unquote company.
Let us now try and get our
Okay,
brain
so what do we
cells to
know
work.
about Mr. Cust now? God knows. Please be something I can work out this time. Okay, Cust is easily influenced. Surely it's got to be part of that. Overcome his travel sickness. No. No. Now, see, I'm not 100% convinced it's coincidence. But I equally don't think it was anything else. I don't think it's anything to do with that, no. I like Cuss being a big red herring. That's been done well, yeah. Oh, I got it! Mentally fragile and easy to manipulate because of the wound from the war and easily influenced in general. How to explain Cust's presence at the crime scenes? Right, well, at this point, I'm still not 100% convinced it's going to be coincidence, but we'll see. Travelling often by train? I don't know about that. Oh, he wanted to see the crime scenes. Interesting. Plausible. Because he wanted to swim. Wanted to see the crime scenes? Evidently not. Wanted to swim? No. Coincidence? And swimming? No. Okay. No. Okay, fine. Explain his presence at the crime scene. So, travels frequently. He wanted to see the crime scenes. Dr. Clark's medical records, no. I'm not sure about the coincidence word in that one, but still. That also, well, I mean, seems sort of viable. His name also being ABC feels less coincidence, yeah. I feel like this is going to end up being brute force again, but are we sure it's not those two? No. Those two? No. Those two? No. No. Alright. Brute force. I've tried thinking about it. And now brute force is a requirement. And luckily, because there's not as many options and it's only 2 overall options, it shouldn't take quite as long to brute force this as it did previously. What's the medical stuff about? Which one's the medical stuff? Alice Asher and Betty Barnard are in Mr. Medical Records. And this one, the murderer found a way to access Dr. Clark's medical records and try to burn them to hide his tracks. Yeah, I think that's all the medical ones. Hey, okay, so Cust was manipulated. The killer made him go to the towns so he's to hide his tracks. There we go. That's again, sometimes that's pretty much what I was suggesting. But finding the exact evidence to match up with what they think that means can sometimes be slightly obtuse.
It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis.
Yeah, I think he was given the job as the salesman to cover the tracks of the true killer.
To the towns where he was going.
Not Asian enough for my brain to figure it out.
The suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he
A
get
genius
from 3
one.
completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes.
Oh.
What should we take from that?
A multi-killer conspiracy? I don't know if I thought of that as a notion. But just one murder of his interest. Oh, that could be. Hide one murder in the guise of a serial killing. That would take a lot of planning, but is plausible. Developed a taste for murder, again, that's plausible. If there are 3 murderers, it would have to be a conspiracy. And I don't know if we've had any evidence to suggest anybody really knows one another. So I'm gonna go for the old hide a crucial kill in the midst of a spree to get away with murder.
Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at two potential culprits.
Oh, does it?
Franklin Clark.
Yes.
Donald Fraser?
Absolutely.
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune.
That's more likely.
Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
Donald was treated by Dr. Clark, was he? I don't know, I can't remember. Donald was resting at Churston. Was he? Don't remember that either. Shit. Donald's firm worked for Clark. Ooh. I think that's true. I think that one was true, because I don't remember Donald being treated for anything, I must admit. Yeah, there was something about Don's job, so I think it's that one is the correct
He works
one.
for Court and Brunskill.
That's
one of
it.
whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
No, it does not.
You could have done it. And you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's
I
records.
mean, he could have done it, but he probably didn't.
You think I'm guilty?
No, not really.
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
And considering he's,
That's ridiculous.
you know, the brother,
Both of you have a motive.
he would have easily
The
been able to
question
access
is, which
the
of
records,
you has
surely.
the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
A profile of Donald Fraser. Okay, so is Donald clever? He was always attentive and generous. No doubts about himself. Horrible dreams. Bright man with a promising career. So yes, I think that's the one, and I think he is. Therefore, oh fuck. Okay, sorry, Donald. It looks like you're fucked, mate, because everything's pointing towards you now. Is Donald sure of himself? He would have made Betty. He was always attentive and generous. A true gentleman? I don't know. I could be leaning towards that. Let's just reread some of the others. And this one suggests he had doubts about himself, so that's not self-confident. Told him until they were married she was free to go with whoever she wanted. And kept saying, one day, one day. I don't know if that has any significance at this point. Women seem to like him. I don't know if that's necessarily self-confident. Alright, we'll go with that one? No. We'll go with that one. Easy to influence again. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with the assessment there. It's the fact that he doubts himself that disproves the self-confidence, not the fact that he's easy to influence, but still. Is Donald a seducer? Good husband? True? No. Alright, fine. Women seem to like him, so yes, okay, fair enough. That was a bit more obvious than I gave it credit for. He is indeed a seducer. Does he like trains? Yes, he does. It's easy to sleep. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, biddly-bong, biddly-bong. Is he impulsive? Oh, there was something... Yeah, started shaking. Yeah, I think it's that one, isn't it? Quick-tempered. So he does not quite match up with the profile of the... Oh, okay, we've got a little bit more. Generous. Attentive and generous, there we go. I like trains. I can't remember the bloody tune now. I know exactly the song you're referencing there. I just can't quite get the tune in my brain.
Donald may share many character traits with
It's an incredible little song.
But he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to
I can't remember if that's one of the ones that Mr.
anything.
Weeble animated.
Also, jealousy is his motive.
I watch him on
and crimes
Twitch
of
sometimes.
passion
He's
are
very
rarely
impressive at
planned.
animations. And I know he has
Right,
worked with
I
him in the
suppose
past.
it's
I'm
my
not
turn to be
sure if
subjected
they
to
worked
the same
together on that one
scrutiny.
or not, though.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and
Okay,
get
so
our
now
brain
we're going to
cells to
profile
work.
Franklin Clark. Franklin Clark. Are you clever? I would say... Okay, yeah, no, we need to prove whether he's clever or not. Evasive school report. Franklin was good, but lacked discipline. Well, that feels like it's probably the one. Sweet chalking charms. Dated the 10th. The railway children. That's going to be if he likes trains, I suspect. Yeah. I think it's going to be the teachers. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that absolutely makes sense. He is very clever. Is he sure of himself? Relationship. I wish you a good start to a successful new year. Thank you. It is the successful new year. I've received your letter dated. Thanks for defending my interests against Wang. This rubber. Pretty bad. If you weren't a real cool-blooded guy. Okay, we know where that's going to go at some point then. That's the seducer. That's the does he like trains. That's the generosity. So I must admit, that one... No, that's the seducer. That's going to be cold-blooded, right? That's going to be seduce. So is that the one? Yes, okay, that's the one. Self-confident. When it comes to women. Is Franklin a seducer? I think it's that one, yes. He is indeed a seducer. It is going to be Mr. Franklin Clark. Does he like trains? He likes the railway children. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? He enjoys reading a book, therefore he likes trains. So I must admit, I don't know the Railway Children story off the top of my head. Does it feature trains that much to suggest the link there? I don't know. Real cold-blooded guy, so that one's a nice obvious one as well. Mr. Franklin Clark is cold. Is he generous? He offered to pay for her train tickets. Yes, he is generous. And is there another question to fill in the last gap, or is that a red herring? That was a red herring.
As
fair
we
enough.
have all seen, there is a disturbing
Indeed there
similarity
is.
between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Which suggests it is you,
Poirot,
Mr.
your
Franklin Clark.
psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up.
How dare you suggest
Why
I do
would
not
I
do
have wished my
maths?
brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
You could
No,
not wait.
You had to act quickly.
You had debts. Franklin was impatient, or Thora Grey bothered him. I'm gonna go impatient. Yeah. I can't think. I mean, she was all over them both, I think, wasn't she? Which suggests maybe she just wants money, which is not unreasonable. So I think maybe you're impatient?
Because you are incapable of waiting.
Really? Well, I am no murderer. You presented him as being a cold and patient schemer.
Oh, yeah.
Certes, normalement. But Lady
That's true.
Clark's imminent death precipitated events. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death.
Oh,
For you, Mr.
right,
Clark,
I understand
it was a
now, yeah,
disaster.
by bothering,
If Miss
right.
Grey had children by your brother, you would not
Yeah,
have
okay.
inherited a
Yeah,
thing.
that makes sense.
You realized the
I was
danger
being
after
slow.
reading several letters from Comstock.
Hastings does not move his
Especially
lips.
one in which your brother
A
opposed
lot of the
something.
time he doesn't, which is
So he
weird
carried
because they
over
are
from
fucking
China?
huge.
And you took action.
You would think with lips that size, you would
In truth,
always see them
Cust was no
moving.
more than a puppet
But a lot of
manipulated
the
by
animations in
culprit.
this...
You, Mr. Clark.
Now, at this point, it's like...
Such an imagination.
Are
Mr.
these
Poirot. In
animations
fact, nobody manipulated Cust.
not incredibly
Famous
good because they're not
instructions
incredibly good in the
received by
game?
post.
Or is they're not
He wrote them on a
incredibly good because my
typewriter.
computer
We
is
know that for
struggling
sure.
with it? I don't know.
Oh, no.
So I can't necessarily put that down to being the game's fault, but there is a certain amount of...
Light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
A lot of the animations are a little bit
Theories are
janky.
ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
1 point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
Okay. Let's see. Lie about the fingerprints found on Cust's typewriter. Interesting. Invent an item of proof found in Alice Ash's tobacco shop. That's too early. If I do... Oh, yeah. Hastings, shoot him. Wait, what bullets did we load again? I think if we bluff him successfully, he's possibly going to reach for Hastings' gun, which means putting blanks in was perhaps a wise decision. No, I think we're going to... Because he wouldn't know how far along we are with Cust's typewriter, so I'm going to try bluffs.
The prints you left on Cust's typewriter.
Enough.
Oh, of course you wiped the typewriter before sending it. But not carefully enough. Scotland Yard has found your print along with those of Cust.
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
Game, set, match.
Ha!
You win, Sparrow. But it was worth trying.
Well done, me. I am Hercule Poirot, and I got to the bottom of the mystery. Blanks, bitch!
Don't come here!
Yeah! I am going to walk up to you very slowly because they're... Oh, although having said that, I think you can actually... Oh, he's going to try and shoot himself. He's going to... It's intriguingly, right up to the temple of his head, that could still potentially do a lot of damage, if not death.
No easy death for you.
Because, of course,
your reaction, so I used
blanks do still provide a force.
Sorry, mademoiselle,
They don't. I think the idea is they don't fire a projectile, but they still explode with the sort of muzzle flare. But apparently he did not die. So, but I'm guessing that situation would be different had you loaded the actual bullets in the gun. But instead of being sort of taken out to the morgue, he is taken away. And it's probably going to be hung in the 1930s.
Missed the chance to become Lady Clark.
Yes,
Thorn
yes,
Grey
there
left
was
England.
that. Oh, interesting. This is Dick Dunbar.
Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married.
Oh, thank you, Dick. Why are you doing the narration, Dick?
On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since.
Oh, that's nice.
Journal of an Innocent. The incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
Cool. What do you think we won? We won! A Microids production. Stefan Longier. Elan Millie. I did the VP. Eric and... God, I can never remember how you pronounce that name. I think it's Ingen... No, I don't know. There's a specific way you pronounce it. I've seen it in the past and heard it in the past and never bloody remember that one. But it's how you precisely get around the N and the G going together. Lucas Schudishog. I mean, in fairness, that's probably not how you pronounce that either. So it's not knowing how to pronounce something has never stopped me in the past. But still, that one irks me because it feels like I should have how that Ingun. It feels like that should be locked in my brain, and yet it isn't, because I've seen that name come up a lot. I think it's close to Win. Okay, well, I was nowhere near. Elena Benoit. Johan Goodlers. You've got a cute little ass. And I'd like to apologise for taking the piss out of these people's names, and clarify that I absolutely appreciate everything they did on the game, because I enjoy playing games, and I enjoyed playing this game. All in all, the game I've enjoyed. The game has faults. The technical issues have been irksome, but they've been mine. There are faults in the game, but nonetheless, the fundamental is the game was very enjoyable. So I do appreciate every single person's work on this. It's just I also like taking the piss out of names. Pascal Compositor, David Pellets. He just leaves his little pellets on the storyboard to do a couple of buggery and buttwiggles. I feel like that might be the title of... That might be the new title of my new autobiography, because I think I've made this joke before about it being the title of my autobiography, but Buggery and Buttwiggles sounds like the perfect title for an autobiography. Platform conversion. Ego point total. I can't help but think there must be at some point. I'm reckoning... I think it was out of 600. I'm going to make a conservative estimate of maybe 400 and something. Oh, interesting. Are you... Really? Wow. This was built during early testing during coronavirus period. I suppose in fairness, that is... I mean, the coronavirus has been sort of a couple of years, isn't it? But, nonetheless... Oh, do I recognise any of those names? Not really. Keith Farquhar. Farquhar, I think, in fairness. But no, I suggested I recognise one of the voices, but I didn't immediately recognise the names. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't recognise the voice, but, you know, sometimes a name does spring out. Emmanuel Jobert. Alexia Aroha. Our families and cats. But no dogs were allowed to work on this game. Lucas Langrevet. There was no N in there. I added an N for you, mate. Sorry. I put in an additional N. You may have done the additional game design, but I added an additional N to your name. Stéphane Secarescu. Marius Popper. Only 6 voice actors. Maybe they voiced someone else that you were recognising. Possibly. You're quite right. It may be just the fact that they did the rounds inside the game itself. Aline Mihadir. Attila Andras Donka. Bernadette. Cecilia. Ooh la. Norbert Nagy. God, he just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. I've tested your game. I don't know. Oh, Norbert. Fuck off. Philippe Canales. Cecilia Lee. 2019. Bloody hell. Yeah, I suppose that would have been, you know. Yeah, would have that been about? I mean, they mentioned coronavirus, so I'm assuming it was the early days of it. It's been hanging around for a long old time, hasn't it? But still. It's when development started. Yeah, true. But it's actually newer than I thought it was. I thought I'd had this game for a lot longer. Because I think it's been... I mean, I've got a lot... I should be ashamed. I mean, it's interesting. I know Blue Boosh and other painters... You're always joking about the whole, I must paint more than I purchase. I'm pretty much the same with video games, I fear. Now I've also got fucking miniatures. So I've got a double whammy of buying shit that I'm not using. But I am terrible with video games. I do tend to go, ooh, that's on offer. I like the look of it. It's cheap. I'll pick that up. And then it's like, ooh, look, brand new one. I'll have a go on that. And then it's like, oh, I bought too many. But do you know what? Sometimes the way I look at it sometimes is when you've got the money to go, do you know what? Yeah, I'll drop however much on that game. Then when you don't have the money, if you've still got that game lurking around and you've not played it, that's the perfect opportunity to play that game, because then you don't have to buy a new one. It's a little bit of a manipulative thought track because it justifies spending far too much on video games, but it's nonetheless, there's a certain sort of like, when you're flush, if you purchase a couple of games, then when you're not feeling so flush, you can start potentially playing those games, and you still get the feeling of a new game because it is new to you. What are your miniatures doing? Fucking. Did I say something about miniature fucking? I don't know. A lot of the last few sentences have just gone over my head and didn't know they actually made sense, but still. I have a compromise. New Year's res. Finish models that are primed or part painted. Ah. Do you know what? I've sort of broken that already. Although having said that, no, I started that one prior to New Year, so I think I primed it. Actually, I think I primed it on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I think I might have primed it on New Year's Eve. But yes, that is a good resolution. Or at least a sufficient one. Now, have we gone round again? Yes, I think I'm getting, because we've just seen them again. So I think we've gone round a second time. Oh, there you go. I was reasonably accurate. 468 out of 600 ego points. Now let's have a look at the bonuses, because there was a lot of bonuses. So here's the timeline. Interesting. Is this interesting? I might look at that a bit more closely. But trophies. We've got the Imperial Moustache, Unmasked the Murderer. Finish questioning Cust, the Kaiser Moustache. Whoops. Very. Oh, right, so you can do it. It's still awkward. It's an awkward system. For a mouse, anyway. Sometimes I think the mouse is an awkward way of controlling it, because as far as I looked up, and as far as I can tell, it was originally on console and therefore designed more for a controller interaction, which is slightly weird that I'm using a mouse on a PC game, because usually I use a controller, whilst also it being designed to be used for a controller, and yet I'm using a mouse. It's a whole host of oddities. But yeah, there's just a whole host of moustaches. Also cat's eyes and falcon's eyes. So we missed the eagle eye. We've got neuron, all sorts of bits. Cesium-133 crystal. What did we get that for? You believe that symmetry is the source of all beauty, and that order generates virtue. What a pleasure it is to sort through things and tidy up. You are loyal to Poirot's spirit. Oh, I mean, I still don't quite get the reference. I'm assuming Cesium-133 is symmetrical. But there you go. You can only handle a small donkey. Oh, a small donkey is even Poirot sometimes makes mistakes. And apparently if I I could have a medium donkey and a large donkey, yeah. And a purring tomcat and a cleaning tomcat. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that was something to do with the cats on the windowsills after all. Single gear, double gear, quadruple gear. Newspapers, stones. That looks amazingly like a tomato for it being stone, but still. You are being stoned by the press, but you are taking matters very calmly. All great men have had their moments of solitude. Incense burner, and back to moustaches, Einstein's. A fantastical moustache. You've proved your artistic flair by discussing porcelain with Thora Grey. The samurai moustache. Masterful, you've opened Sir Carmichael's secret drawer. You have put the animals in the right place. Take your rightful place, that of Emperor in the middle. Gandhi moustache. This was as you were loading the revolver you entrusted to Hastings with blanks. You clearly chose a non-violent approach to the problem. You'll thank yourself for it. And I would suspect the alternate to that then is Sheriff moustache. That's if you pop real bullets in, perhaps. Dali moustache. And there we go, Thor's hammer. You've tamed the Nordic firestorm. Thora Grey was unable to protect her secrets, and you have brought them to light with the force of your logic. Yes, enjoy my forceful logic. A secret heart, a red cross, and here's the gold paper knife. Well done. On your own initiative, and thanks to your talents in graphology, you have proved the common origin of the letters sent by the killer. I must admit, a lot of these, I don't know whether they're optional, but it felt like I had to get them. Always difficult to say. But what is
When
this
Franklin
video?
understands that his brother's inheritance is going to be stolen from
Oh,
under his
yeah,
nose,
this is...
he decides to get rid of him. In order not to be considered as a suspect, he has the idea of including the murder as part of a series that the police will put down to a madman. Franklin uses
yeah, all right,
Michael's
fine. Well,
medical records
I didn't know I was going to do it
choose his
automatically, but we might as well look
victims
through
as
here.
the ideal suspect, Alexander Bonaparte Cust.
This is
who
sort of
was
summary.
seriously wounded in the war and suffers from bouts of amnesia. Franklin writes the letters he will send me before each murder on his own typewriter in advance. He contacts Cust by letter and offers him a job. Cust is convinced that he is working for a hosiery company. In reality, it is Franklin that sends him his instructions, his goods, and even his typewriter. When we receive the first letter, Hastings thinks that it is a joke. As for me, filled with foreboding, I prefer to inform Chief Inspector Japp. Following his written instructions, Cust goes to Andover. He visits...
That's true.
Mrs.
I mean, I
Asher's
must admit, it's
tobacco
quite
shop
nice
and
seeing the
sells
whole
her a
timeline.
pair of stockings. After Cust's visit, Franklin, in turn, enters the tobacco shop. Mrs. Asher is
Especially
not
because we're seeing the
suspicious of
bits
murder.
where now we know
She gets to
Franklin's
be
the
an
murderer.
ordinary
We're seeing
customer.
his side of
The
things a
lady
little bit more
turns
as well.
around to take a packet of cigarettes. She is beaten to death. We investigate the first murder with Hastings. No suspect has a motive. A few weeks later, we receive a second letter signed ABC. Chief Inspector Japp is informed. The victim's name should start with the letter B. Alexander Bonaparte Cust goes to Bexhill. He serves Mrs. Barnard a pair of stockings. Betty Barnard leaves her work. She's dressed to go out. The young woman is strangled on the beach. Betty was killed by the man who had arranged to meet her that evening, the seducer Franklin Clark. In Bexhill, Donald Fraser appears to be the perfect suspect for Betty's murder, but he has no connection with Mrs. Asher. 5 days after the Bexhill murder, Cust goes to Churton for his work. In the afternoon, Soagre turns away a stocking seller. After dinner, Sir Carmichael Clark takes his usual walk. His brother waits for him, hidden behind a bush. The murderer leaps out from his hiding place and cuts Sir Clark's throat. The third letter arrived late. Franklin deliberately wrote a wrong address. In Churton, Thorogray and Franklin Clark are the main suspects. Back in London, Cust is seized by violent coughing fit and brings up blood. He stains his shirt, which later frightens his landlady. We receive the final letter from ABC. The next murder will be in Doncaster. The second general meeting in London highlights the common point between the victims, stockings, and a throat condition. Custer's landlady telephones Scotland Yard to tell them about her suspicions. Cust is arrested shortly afterwards in Doncaster. Franklin had planned a fourth murder in Doncaster. He abandons the idea after Custer's arrest. Cust confesses to the crimes he did not commit. He's an easy culprit. Too easy. Franklin Clark is unmasked. He is the true culprit and the man who manipulated Cust. And there we have it. Another case solved by Hercule Poirot.
Marvellous. We did indeed solve the case, for we are Hercule Poirot. And there's still a reasonable chunk of ego points I could sift through. I don't know if I'm going to. But for now, I think it's time to push the quit button. And, interesting little extra, of course, looks like we'll be using the new... I say new, not technically new, it's a very old streaming software. But it's the alternate streaming software from what I was using. Because, well, we just did 2 hours of that game. And it seems to have run as smooth as fucking silk. So, looks like this is a permanent choice. Which is good in some ways, because clearly it's working nicely. What is it? It's OBS. Oh, bullshit! So traditionally I use Streamlabs OBS, and they seem to have just not worked that well. And as I say, I mentioned this yesterday, I think. So Streamlabs OBS, from what I could tell from the little stats on its lower line, was using around sort of, on average, about 20% of the CPU. Now, it's variable, but on average, it's about 20% of the CPU. Whereas OBS at the moment is quoting around about, I don't know, I'd say maybe on average about 5%. At the right this very second, it's using about just under 3%. But it does fluctuate. So if we called it an average of 5%, that allows it to be sort of around the 2 up to 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, you know, and it averages out at maybe about 5%, which is a fairly heavy, well, it's a fairly light drain, which is in a fairly heavy distance. There's a fairly large gap between the two softwares. Now, I've only been using OBS on this occasion for a couple of streams, so maybe other things will stress it out a little bit more. But yeah, it seems to be using a lot less CPU for starters, and seems to have not crashed every 5 seconds whilst playing the ABC Murders. So yeah, OBS seems to be working quite nicely. It's just that the one annoying issue is the whole having to rebuild everything in terms of scenes, in terms of sources. So I'm having to rebuild all of the intro scene, the interim slideshow scene I had to rebuild, the Final Fantasy scene I had to rebuild. New Year's special was always going to be a new scene anyway. It's going to get a little bit easier now I've got most of the overlay extras keyed in, because then you can just copy and paste them and stuff. But nonetheless, there are several more scenes that I'll need to try and put together as well. If I fancy doing any Friends Days again, I'll need the Friends Day scene, etc., etc. And there didn't seem to be any easy way to sort of just kind of cross them from one software to the other. But yeah, I would possibly suggest OBS. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to allow this to force me into a judgment, but I know a lot of people have decided to jump over to the original OBS because there's been a controversy with Streamlabs as well, which the fundamentals, I think, is Streamlabs have copied. I think the idea is they've copied bits they weren't supposed to, and there was a whole thing. I don't know every single detail, but you know, they basically, Streamlabs shit the bed, and now they're having to try and clean the sheets. And so a lot of people have gone, I'm not going to use Streamlabs anymore. But I can't deny, you know, it might be worth us. They were using the OBS name without permission. That, yes, you're quite right. That is definitely part of it, which is where they're supposed to be sort of taking it off. But I must admit, my shortcut, now maybe it's because they don't update my shortcut, but at the moment it is still registering as Streamlabs OBS. But yeah, anyway, it might be better and it might be beneficial. I don't know. This is one of those experimentation things, but if I'm right about the CPU difference between Streamlabs and standard OBS, original OBS, might be worthwhile getting Can't Sleep to change it up as well, because that might help his machine not keel over when you bombard him with redeemables. Because I think, again, I'll hold my hands up. A lot of what I say is absolute guesswork and bullshit. And I hope by now you probably know that. But I think part of it loading in the browser source for registering the redeemables, that puts extra on the CPU. and therefore it being generally a lower CPU usage might help his machine cope a little bit better. But again, it's speculation, and let's be honest, with some technology, just doing a little dance is sometimes enough to make it work. So technology is a pain in the arsehole. It depends on what technology it is. If it's quite large and you shove it up there, then obviously it's going to be a pain in there. But anyway, I think I'll probably leave it there, truth be told. I was tempted to possibly sort of add something extra, but I think we've sort of packaged Pro Op nicely. I'll tell you what, we'll do one extra thing that you won't be able to see, but I'll describe it to you. Visual description. Best stream all year. Do you know what? I'm almost tempted to fall for it and not acknowledge the fact that it's the first and only stream of the year so far. But anyway, as is tradition, I am in my Steam library, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Agatha Christie, add to, completed for starters, and then Agatha Christie, add to, completed streamed. And I'll tell you what, I'm also, just as a quick little bonus, I am going to put it in the point and click folder as well. Or collections. If you're familiar with Steam, you can apply collections to different things. And I've got a completed collection, a completed streamed collection, and a point and click collection, because I was always planning on doing some more point and clicks. But yes, completed streamed. Let's have a look. What is in my completed streamed? Transistor. We did Transistor. This War of Mine I've popped in there because we did do a successful run of this War of Mine. Then you did the last stream of 2021 and the first of 2022. That's true. And Amnesia you got. I mean, this sentence is beautiful, but I'll go with it. This was my first instinct to say after you wrote that, and it was, I'd hoped you'd forgotten about that. But clearly you hadn't. Super Hot. If anybody has not played Super Hot, I would highly recommend that one. It is truly incredible. Star Trek game. That one, I enjoy it. I realise that's a synonym for it's pretty bad. But no, I mean, genuinely, I enjoy Star Trek. It's just a sort of third-person shooter. It's quite fun. Earn Brigade. That's a fantastic game. Half-Minute Hero. That's always entertaining. Sort of, it's a bit of a fusion that's got like a certain level of puzzly. There's an element of puzzle within an element of sort of panicked running around with elements of RPG as well. It's a very good game. There is a second one of those as well, I believe. Gunpoint, that's an immensely good game. Very good. Final Fantasy 13 we did on Saturday RPG. In fact, I think it was the first one. I feel like it was the first ever one we did on the official Saturday RPG, certainly. We've done other RPGs, but I think that was the first one we did as official Saturday. Enslaved, that was a very entertaining game. Deponia, I don't remember fully completing that one. That must have been quite a significant period of time ago. But that's a point and click game as well. Very daft, very over the top. Daft sense of humour is the key thing. Death Spank, daft, over the top. Stupid sense of humour. There might be a pattern forming here, you know. You like things with a daft sense of humour. Yes, I do. Cthulhu Saves Christmas. That was last year's Christmas special. Blood Bowl 2. That was a Sunday afternoon at home thing. Did the campaign. Campaign was very entertaining. Mostly down to the two commentators, who I can't quite remember their names, but the commentators in Blood Bowl 2 are very entertaining. Wouldn't mind at some point getting Blood Bowl 3, but have to wait and see. Besiege is indeed the one I was thinking of. That's the Machines one. So the image I've got in front of me has two little knights running away, and I suddenly got confused between that and a different game. But no, it's the one where I was making wacky machines that barely worked. But they did work. If you ever fancy a BB2 game, yes. I must admit, I don't think it's installed at the moment, so you'd have to give me some warning. So if you do ever fancy a Blood Bowl 2 game, I'm more than happy. You would just need to give me a sort of day or two's notice so that I can install the thing. But I think I was on the verge of building my own team of orcs, and I feel like it was... I mean, I definitely think it was some kind of filthy name. I can't remember exactly where I was going with it, but it was definitely a euphemistic name. And then, of course, the latest addition to Completed Streamed, Agatha Christie, The ABC Mothers. I believe there is a previous one, or at least there are several other Agatha Christie games around. Now, one last task, since I've just spotted it. I have several things in my inventory. Oh, I see. These are not anything to do... Oh, these must have been last night's ones. Fair enough. I had not realised that. These are all Space Marine cards. For anybody unaware, when playing video games through Steam, you tend to get Steam cards. Not every game has them. Some games don't have them, then they do have them, and you get a whole host of them all at once. Space Marine, I think, might be one of those categories. Because I don't think, when that first came out, I don't think it had Steam cards. So they must have introduced those at some point between when I stopped playing the game and when I've picked it up again, because I've ended up with all of the card drops from Space Marine. I've got a big shooter knob, a melee knob pro, a bloodletter, a raptor, a tainted saker, and Captain Titus. Captain Titus, indestructible. So and shimbidi, shimbidi bumbidi, shimbidi bumbidi. Anyway, phone rang, and now we're talking about knobs. I mean, isn't that just life? No, it's not. You've lived a very strange life. And for anybody interested, the Steam sale is still currently on. You've got until the 5th of January to get in there and pick up some steamy bits. I don't know what I'm leaning towards possibly picking up, but I'm bound to purchase something in some fashion. But I'll have a look through my wish list and see if there's anything I particularly fancy. Might be Inscription. Might try and grab that, because that's got 20% off, and that was highly entertaining. Who's Your Daddy for $1.99? I mean, it's certainly one of the ones where I might consider it, but I must admit, nothing on their front page is like leaping out at me as like wondrously brilliant, which I suppose tells you that I tend to purchase weird shit. But as I say, I'm sure if I look through my wish list, there's going to be a lot of stuff on there. In fact, I know there's a lot of stuff on my wish list. There's 567 games on my wish list. Most of them I don't actually wish for. It's just I use it as a sort of, I'll come back to that and investigate it. Oh wow, Red Johnson's Chronicles 1 and 2 is only 69p. I might finally plump to get that, because I played a demo of that and I quite enjoyed it, but by all reviews that I've seen, it's absolute garbage. But as I say, I played the demo and it was pleasant. But so still, but yeah, fuck me, there are some very cheap stuff on here. Yeah, but in fairness, I'm at the moment I'm in a list because I sort my wish list by discount, which is quite nice. You don't need to know any of this, by the way. I just like to point that out. I'm aware that you don't need to know any of this. I suppose I'm just making conversation. But yeah, at the moment I'm still in like 90% off, which is making them very cheap. Very pleasing indeed. Still keep getting tempted. I don't know if anybody's aware of the video game Jump Force. I'm led to believe it's absolute shit. Although having said that, the overall reviews seems to have slipped into mostly positive, which is new. It's never been mostly positive previously. But Jump Force essentially is Shonen Jump, I believe, is the fella. You may recognise the name, I don't know. I'll explain it anyway. It's not meant to be sort of like patronising explanations. It's just for anybody unaware. So if you are aware, you don't have to care. Or you can correct me, of course. That's always an option. But essentially, I think it's like Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh! They're the ones I know off the top of my head. One Piece, I think I recognise one of them as One Piece. But it's all like your Japanese animes, all mixed together in a fighting game. And it's supposed to be like... Originally, I think it was seen as like, oh my god, it's the best looking thing ever. Can you imagine all those animes put together? It'll be fantastic. And then it came out and it turned out it was shit. But I still sort of tempted by it. Although I'm not a huge fighting game person in general. Mortal Kombat I absolutely adore, but outside of Mortal Kombat I'm not much of a fighting game player. Although having said that, I do have Tekken 7 on my wish list. I told you the wish list isn't necessarily an accurate description of everything I wish for. But then again, I do enjoy... this is the point. I enjoy every game for the most part, I think. I'm a simple mind to please, really. So put me in front of a video game, I'll probably enjoy that video game, truth be told. But still... what was... Crawl, yeah, I remember that one. I think that was like a multiplayer dungeon crawler, yeah, with very nice pixel graphics. So I'm going to continue scrolling for a little bit. We're in the 80% off now, so the prices are up a bit more. Oh, Drakensang, The River of Time. I don't blame you if you've never heard of that one. But yeah, that's another one of the Dark Eye. You may know the Dark Eye, but I've ended up never heard of it prior to playing some of the games, but I ended up playing a load of the Dark Eye games, and they were very entertaining. Especially, I quite liked. Now, I think it was called, the official name of it was called The Chains of Satinav. But I always called it The Chains of Satnav. In 3 miles, take a left turn. But yeah, there's a lot here that are like multiplayer games that I've put on there as like, yeah, that'll be good. And then it's like, I don't have any friends. I'll leave it on the wish list and not buy it. But still. Lost Dimension. That was an entertaining game. Waves, yes, that's true. I suppose it has gotten better over the last few years, truth be told. That tells you how old this wish list, some of the entries on this wish list is. But yeah, Lost Dimension I first played on, I think it was the PlayStation Portable. It was quite an amusing little sort of turn-based RPG with sort of... It's got that kind of... I suppose arguably one of the key words there is investigation, and that is sort of what it is. I think you're told that one of the individuals in your party is a villain, and then you have to try and you end up voting who you think is the villain, and who you voted for ends up getting killed off. So it's quite a darkish one, but also sort of high Japanese style stuff. Every Japanese sort of trope you can think of, I'm fairly confident was covered in it. I always I don't know, I assume they did it deliberately, and I feel like they must have. But I often see the video game, and its name is WAZ, W-A-Z, WAZ, H-A-C-K, hack. And I really don't know if it was deliberate. I feel like it must have. But basically, it's called Wazzock. And I don't know whether they intended for it to be known as Wazzock, or whether they wanted it to be not, whether they genuinely went in there and went, yes, we've called it Waz Hack. And then nobody pointed out the fact that it sounds like Wazzock. But it always amuses me every time I spot that title. Rage 2, it's a bit... I mean, it's not hugely expensive, but it's a bit outside the range of possibly going for one on this occasion. But I still fancy it, because the first Rage was very entertaining. I enjoyed that one. Oh no, that's interesting. Is that different? Or is that the same? I've got one on the wish list that's Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition, but I've also got No More Heroes already in my library, so I don't know if that's a variation of the same game or slightly different. Usually they disappear from the wish list if you've bought them, so I don't know. Manuscript inspired to go back to Diablo 3. Malleus. Malleus? He's Malleus. He's very malleable. Do you know what? Oddly enough, Diablo 3, I'd have to clear out a lot of space. But, because I think it's somewhere in the 1890 gigabytes territory. I'm fairly certain, if memory serves, Diablo 3 is a ridiculous drain on memory. So I'd have to do a lot of... Is it 13 gig? Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad then. I could probably do 13 gig. 90 gig, I'd have to jiggle about a load of stuff, but 13 I could probably do. But I'm fairly certain... Don't 100% quote me, but I'm fairly certain I do own Diablo 3. I just never got round to playing it. And I realise that takes me nicely back to what I said at the beginning. I keep buying games, and then I don't play them. I know, I'm a terrible human being. And I'm still continuing to scroll through despite the pointless nature of this. I'll tell you what, I'll find one more game that leaps out at me as something worth discussing, and then I'll definitely put it away because I could do with going for my dinner. Yeah, Diablo 3 or Blood Bowl 2. I'll tell you what, we could discuss this one despite the fact that I think, again, although overall reviews mark it as very positive, but The Wonderful 101 remastered. Now, I had a go at The Wonderful 101 on its original home, which I believe... Now, I'm fairly certain it was the Wii U, was its original home. And it was quite entertaining. And I must admit, I am intrigued to know how they've manipulated it. Because if memory serves, it did rely reasonably heavily on the touchpad. I might be mistaken on that. It's been a while since I've played it. But I would be intrigued to know how the remaster fares. But again, it's not outside of decent price at the moment with the sale on, but it is still quite expensive. Although I do realise, and deep down I've always known, that sometimes when I think, right, I'll purchase this. If I purchase a fuckload of things for a couple of quid, I could just purchase one thing but it feels better if I've got a fuckload of things. It's a bit like when watching videos. I don't know if anybody else has this, but when I watch like a YouTube video, if a YouTube video comes along and presents itself as, I'm half an hour, I think, ooh, no, I don't know if I can do half hour. But if a YouTube video presents itself as 10 minutes, I will watch 3 of them. And do you know what 3 times 10 minutes is? 30 minutes, aka half an hour. It is ridiculous, but it just happens all the time. It's like, no, I couldn't possibly watch an hour worth of YouTube. It would be a terrible use of my time. 6 10-minute videos later. In fact, usually it's like 10 10-minute videos later, and you suddenly go, oh, I could have watched that hour-long one, couldn't I? Shit. I forgot to put the bins out. I haven't, by the way. I'd like to point out that is very much a reference to Armstrong and Miller. But, I imagine Mr. Blue Boosh might be aware of it. I'm not sure if James Games would be, but you might be eventually. Ulfgar the Awful. I'm just scrolling through Discord now. He's done a lovely Venom. He has done a lovely Venom. Oh, in fact, Blue Boosh, you are aware of it. You've already commented. It came in over an hour ago, in fairness, but it is... it is magnificent, isn't it? Magnificent beast. The green on the tongue. And the white veins. The white veins is a magnificent touch. Because it just builds that extra little bit of contrast, I think, is the key thing. Because I wouldn't necessarily think it looks more accurate to Venom, but it is nonetheless magnificent. I tell you what, do you know what? Just for the sake of others. Now, I don't know how best to do this. Let's do window capture, and let's just double check there's nothing of any significance upon the screen. No, not really. So that should be fine. Although I don't know if it will. Oh, it will capture it. Oh, no, that makes that easier. But I will probably want to crop that down a little bit. Can't. It's doing its annoying thing again. I suppose actually the first thing I should perhaps do is resize it and then figure out if I want to crop it at all. I probably don't need to, truth be told. There you go. That's probably good enough to see what I'm talking about. I think you can appreciate. And this is Ulfgar the Awful. I can't remember. Does he stream? Blue Boosh? Do you remember if he streams? Is he a streamer? Or is he just an enjoyable person? There's no obvious sign. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done the... Oh, fuck it. Fuck it. Who cares? But yeah. Now, it's actually interesting. The one thing I would possibly put forth as a criticism is his lines on the road. I think I've got him beat on I've got him beat on lines on the road. Could never match his Venom, but double yellow lines? I might have you beaten there, sir. But I have just recently done some yellow lines, and they do look quite nice. But other than that, I mean, the fucking thing is magnificent. I've just realised it is still showing, so you can see me scrolling through, but still, you can just... I'll zoom in on that one. There you go. It's beastly. Magnificently beastly. But I must admit, off the top of my head, I don't know what his streaming name would be. Tell you what, we might consider doing stuff, so I'll open up a browser and I'll get rid of that Discord window. Remove that. That's it. Oh, there we go. Yes, he does. So I'll tell you what, since we've just been discussing his model, for those... God, I've got my phone in where... That should work. Yeah, for those interested in his painting.
Well, that's good. I was worried for a second you were going to say they were going to try to eat him, and that would have been very sad.
He does not look very tasty. I'm sorry. I like him a lot, but he does not look like somebody would want to eat him.
No.
There is someone I need you to look for when you head to Orshava.
I super appreciate
the
name of that D&D thing.
There is
Coffee and Crits. Magnificent choice. Magnificent choice of name there. Absolutely love that. But yeah, he does stream, so you can feel free to follow. And you might get to see him paint some of those little bits and bobs. And I tell you the other thing, assuming you are still doing so, tonight, if you've got 10 o'clock, I believe, there will be some Monsieur Blubush. Oh, the Willy Bum thing, yes. Just absolutely wrecked you on that one. I think it was the high-pitched nature of the voice, wasn't it? High-pitched nature of the voice and the general daftness. And I don't know, we have mentioned him previously, so we might as well do his little SO as well. You've also got Mr. Can't Sleep Must Paint. I would assume he's perhaps doing a stream tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
If you've not watched the stream before, I'm currently filming myself through a tank full of sea monkeys.
Yeah, he was back
this
on
is the type
Wednesday,
of quality
wasn't he?
painting
So
content you can
I'm
expect on
assuming he's going to be available
Paint.
Sunday for his stream.
Check us out on Twitch.
But, I mean, let's be honest. If you pop over to the channels, drop a follow, you'll be notified. So you don't necessarily need to know the scheduling off by heart, but I suppose arguably you have to be on Twitch for it to notify you. But that's not the point. Shut up. Leave me alone. Anyway, let's have a look here, and then there, and then let's just have a look here. So we got maybe a few. Let's see. I think I must admit I might just leave it because I want to head straight off to my dinner. So I tell you, I'll find you a sort of animal group again. So that we at least do a raid, but it also allows me to just fuck off immediately. Oh no, I don't know about that. There's one for bees. I was thinking maybe, but not so sure. Oh, there's a tortoise. Tortoise. Or as World of Final Fantasy would have you believe, it was tortoise. It's a tortoise. Because they call it an adamantus. And I don't like it. Let's see if there's something that's magical and majestic. I'm not sure what that animal is. Oh, it's not quite... Yeah, it's the face. Oh, it's a very zoomed up face of a guinea pig, I believe. Where you can only see, like, the nostrils. Do you know what? I think we might go to the tortoise. Tortoise. Yeah, fuck it, the tortoise. He's probably not moving and he might be asleep, but we'll go in and see the tortoise. He appears to be named Stefan. Stefan the tortoise. A little tortoise. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say cheerio, then I'm going to start the raid and I'm going to turn the stream off. So here goes nothing. Cheerio.